Hello, and welcome to this lesson on interpreting speed-time graph. By the time you finish this video, you will be able to recognize what different shapes on a speed-time graph are telling you about motion. You'll learn how to calculate acceleration by finding the gradient of the graph. And finally, you'll be able to work out the total distance traveled by calculating the area under the graph. Let's get started. Let's begin by looking at the axes first. On the vertical axis, we have speed. And on the horizontal axis, we have time. A speed-time graph helps us understand how the speed of an object changes over time. Now watch carefully as the first line appears. The line starts at 0 and rises upwards in a straight line. As this section appears, notice how the speed is increasing steadily. This tells us the object is speeding up. And when an object speeds up, we call this acceleration. Because the line is straight, the speed increases by equal amounts in equal times. So this is called constant positive acceleration. Now let's focus on the blue label appearing beside the line. The label tells us speeding up, positive acceleration. This is helping us connect the shape of the graph with the motion of the object. An upward sloping line means increasing speed. Now the next section of the graph appears. This time, the line becomes flat and horizontal. Pause for a moment and look carefully at this shape. Even though time is still moving forward, the height of the graph is not changing. That means the speed is staying exactly the same. The object is no longer accelerating. It is moving at a steady, constant speed. This is one of the most important ideas in speed-time graphs. Whenever you see a horizontal line, it means constant speed. The object is covering equal distances every second. Now let's continue as the final section of the graph appears. This time, the line slopes downward back toward 0. As the line goes down, the speed becomes smaller and smaller. This means the object is slowing down. And slowing down is called deceleration, or negative acceleration. Again, notice that the line is straight, so the object is slowing down steadily at a constant rate. And finally, the graph reaches 0 speed. At this point, the object has stopped moving completely. As this graph appears, notice that the line is curved instead of straight. This is very different from the first graph. A curved line tells us the acceleration is changing. The object is not speeding up steadily. Sometimes the speed changes quickly, sometimes slowly. So the acceleration is not constant. That is the key idea for curved speed-time graphs. Straight lines mean constant acceleration. Curved lines mean changing acceleration. The formula is acceleration equals change in speed divided by time. In simple words, we calculate how much the speed changed, then divide by how long it took. Now let's follow the example as it appears step by step. The speed increases from 2 meters per second to 8 meters per second in 3 seconds. First, we find the change in speed. 8 minus 2 equals 6. Then divide by the time taken. 6 divided by 3 equals 2. So the acceleration is 2 meters per second squared. And this is our final answer. So remember, an upward line means speeding up, a flat line means constant speed, a downward line means slowing down, and a curved line means changing acceleration. Now let's look at another important idea in speed-time graphs. This time, instead of focusing on acceleration, we're going to focus on distance traveled. And the key rule is this: distance equals the area under the graph. So now, instead of only looking at the line itself, we also pay attention to the shaded space underneath it. Let's look carefully at the first section. The graph rises upward from 0 speed. This means the object is speeding up. And underneath that section, we can see a blue shaded shape. This shape is a triangle. Even though the object is accelerating, it is still traveling distance. And that distance is represented by the area underneath the graph. Now let's move to the middle section. Here, the graph becomes flat. That tells us the object is moving at a constant speed. Underneath this section, we can see a large yellow rectangle. Again, this shaded area represents distance traveled, because the object continues moving forward during this part of the journey. Now let's look at the final section. The graph slopes downward back toward 0. This means the object is slowing down. Underneath this part, we have another triangle. Even while slowing down, the object is still traveling distance. So this area must also be included. Now look at all three shaded regions together: the blue triangle, the yellow rectangle, and the orange triangle. All of these areas combine to give the total distance traveled. That is why we say distance equals area under the graph. This is one of the most important ideas in interpreting speed-time graphs. If we can calculate the total area underneath, then we can calculate the total distance traveled. So remember, the area under a speed-time graph always represents distance traveled. Now let's dive into some exam-style practice questions. You can pause the video and try it yourself. The graph shows a motorbike traveling along a straight road. At the beginning, the motorbike starts from rest, then it speeds up steadily. After that, it travels at a constant speed for a short time, before finally slowing down until it stops. Let's have question 1. The question asks, for how long was the motorbike traveling at a constant speed? Now, the most important thing to remember here is this. Constant speed is shown by a horizontal line on a speed-time graph. So the first thing we do is look for the flat section of the graph. Let's look carefully. The graph rises at the beginning, which means the motorbike is speeding up. Then the graph becomes flat across the top. This horizontal section shows the motorbike traveling at a constant speed. Finally, the graph slopes downward, which means the motorbike is slowing down. So now we only focus on the flat section. The constant speed begins at 5 seconds and ends at 13 seconds. To find how long the motorbike traveled at a constant speed, we subtract the starting time from the ending time. 13 minus 5 equals 8. So the motorbike traveled at a constant speed for 8 seconds. And this is our final answer. Now let's move on to question 2. You can pause the video and try it yourself. The question asks, calculate the acceleration during the first 5 seconds. Now remember, acceleration tells us how quickly speed increases. And to calculate acceleration, we use the formula. Acceleration equals change in speed divided by time taken. Or you can think of it as rise over run. Now let's look carefully at the graph. During the first 5 seconds, the speed increases from 0 meters per second to 10 meters per second. So the change in speed is 10, and the time taken is 5 seconds. Now substitute the values into the formula. Acceleration equals 10 divided by 5. 10 divided by 5 equals 2. So the acceleration is 2 meters per second squared. And this is our final answer. Now let's move on to question 3. You can pause the video and try it yourself. The question asks, work out the total distance traveled by the motorbike. Now remember, on a speed time graph, the total distance traveled is equal to the area under the graph. So instead of finding the gradient this time, we need to calculate the shaded area underneath the graph. Let's look carefully at the shape formed under the graph. Notice that it is not a rectangle, and it is not a triangle. This shape is called a trapezium. That means we must use the trapezium area formula. The formula tells us to add the two parallel sides together, divide by 2, and then multiply by the height. Now let's identify the values from the graph. The first parallel side is 8, the second parallel side is 22, and the height is 10. Now let's substitute the values step by step. First, add 8 and 22 together. 8 plus 22 equals 30. Next, divide 30 by 2. 30 divided by 2 equals 15. Finally, multiply 15 by 10. 15 multiplied by 10 equals 150. So the total area underneath the graph is 150. And because area under a speed time graph represents distance traveled, the motorbike traveled 150 meters. And this is our final answer.